Hello everybody, this is Old Gamer. I figured we'd take a little walk, have a little talk, and it's got to do with the way prices are going. So bear with me for a minute while we take this little stroll. Enjoy the scenery. I think the biggest thing for me is the way that everyone's always talking about how much everything's costing. Food, your rental, and or if you own a home, automobiles, stuff like this. And the thing that I've noticed is most of the time it's these people that gets on YouTube and stuff, and you can tell that they really don't have a clue how us poor people actually make it. I mean, they got all their tips and stuff, and they talk about prices, and they want to talk about, oh, it's so hard to find us a place to live, and they're making over $100K a damn year. So I figured I'll throw my hat into the pool. I guess you can call me a poor person. We're going to take a walk right down in here. I live next to a preserve, so I tell you where it was at, but I don't want no one to know that. In any case, first off, rent or trying to buy a home. Currently where I stay at, I guess I can give you that much. I'm in South Carolina. Now, South Carolina is better than most places by far. And when it comes to the rent, it depends on the area you live at. Now, where I stay at, you can find some expensive places to live if you're not looking. You'll step right into that trap. Apartments, housing rentals, even trailer rentals can be outrageous. Now, as a poor person who doesn't even make $40K a year now, I'm below the poverty line, as the IRS would say, but I make it. No, I'm not swimming in no luxury, but I make it. The equipment that I'm using, I'm using the Action 5 Pro. I got the DJI mic, but I use my income tax returns to buy that. Income tax returns for us down here for a poor person is like Christmas, so it is what it is. Now, I'm also an older feller. I'm past 55. Dang, it's a nice day today. Now, I looked, and I looked up. It took a bit, and I ended up finding a place. It only cost me $625 a month for rent. Now, the outside ain't that great, but the inside's nice, and I've lucked up with a very nice and good landlord, in my opinion. For one, we have privacy. He doesn't hound us. He doesn't mind us working our yards and making them look nice and stuff like this. You plant flowers. It's not like the people that's constantly doing HOAs, things of that nature. Let's check for snakes. But I've seen people talking about, well, their rent and stuff like this, they're paying $1,200 all the way up. I've seen some saying like $3,000 a month. And quite frankly, I don't see how. Okay, so to me, if you can't afford that, I really don't understand why the hell you're doing it. for one, there's no point in it. If you can't make it, that means you're just going to make yourself miserable, and eventually you're going to be looking for another place to live. Possibility of going homeless if you're poor. You just have to spend some time and look. Have to swallow a little bit of pride. Just because a place looks bad on the outside, you could fix it up on the inside, fix the yard up, and have you a nice place to live. I like where I live. I'm lucky in many ways now. I'm in a nice neighborhood. We all know each other, or you recognize each other as living back where I live. Yes, it's a trailer park, but it's a trailer park that actually has a back and a front yard. Like I said, I'm lucky. Living close to this preserve, and beside us on the other side is a couple that owns horses, and they have a lot of land, and they've left quite a bit of it as woods. So pretty much we have woods on either side of us. I'm 5 minutes from hospital, Walmart's. I'm like 15 minutes away from the industrial zone. It's decent. Now, I guess the biggest thing though is prices of food. For us poor people, we pretty much juggle stuff. You go grocery shopping. If you're not careful, you can drop $400 to $500 and not even have half a shopping cart full. You have to really be careful. So, you're not so much going to shop for like, oh, I like to have a steak. You can't afford that. You have to shop for the month, like meal wise, like how many meals can you get out of this and that. So, again, I make it. I know there's a lot of other people that make just the same amount or less than me, and we all make it. You can't get help from the state. I know a lot of people are screaming about how people get on food stamps and all these assistant programs, but to be honest, that's a hassle, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. And I'm sorry to say that, how do you put it? If you're an immigrant, yes, it's 100% easy for you to get that kind of stuff, but for the rest of us, especially if you work, why even apply? I got a couple of friends that make about the same as me. They did apply, and I think they gave them like $50 for the month. Oh, that equals a couple of dozen eggs, a couple of gallons of milk. Nothing. That's not even 3 days worth of groceries. But in any case, you have to make concessions. You have to think about what you're doing. Like, I smoke. And yeah, excuse me, I'm light up now, but I don't buy cigarettes. I had made myself a promise a long time ago when they got to a certain price that I would either find me an alternative or quit, one or two. And I don't want to quit. I'm not saying it's good for you. If you don't want to smoke, don't smoke. You don't like smoke, okay, that's fine too. But for those of us that do smoke and don't want to quit, so be it. I roll my own. It is so much cheaper that way. I was spending $400 to $500 a month on cigarettes. Marlboro, right? Cowboy Killers. Well, rolling my own, it turns out you can actually order the tobacco that Marlboro uses, and you can even get the whole filter thing all set up for you. And you put it in a machine and roll your own. And I think that averages for me, I think it's like 35 cents. I'd have to do the math later, but I think it's like 35 cents, 40 cents a pack, which is 20 cigarettes. So on that, that if you're not going to quit, that's about as cheap as you can go. That whole vape stuff, I don't really like that at all. yeah, I also got, excuse me, this is my first video, so I'm even still learning this camera. So anyway, with the prices of groceries, you got to shop smart. You can't go always buy like what you what you like to have. You even have to make concessions with your sweets. That candy bar ain't worth it. It's actually cheaper to just find your the stuff to make your cakes, things like this, and go with that. And pies. So learning how to cook, there you go. And again, I'm lucky. Gas and stuff around here, I mean, gas goes up and down, just like anywhere else, but it hangs at around, I'm gonna say anywhere from like $1.88 up to maybe like $2.20 most of the time, depending on the season. Because that's another whole discussion. They want to say this and that about the economy, but it's got more to do with greed. Everybody knows that. You wait a week or so, gas prices drop, and being poor, you watch that. You watch it. That gas drops, that's when you're going to go fill up your tank. You don't go making unnecessary trips and stuff because you can't freaking afford it. Same thing with your groceries. You look for sales, stuff like that, go to the meat sections. Like I'm a member of Sam's, and that's just because you do the math, it's better to buy in bulk. So for meats and stuff, Sam's, what they'll do, say 2 to 3 days before they have to rotate that meat out, they'll put it up on like discount, whatever you want to call it, and say you got to freeze it or eat it that day, whatever. So you stock up on all that. Ambulance. Like I said, I'm close to everything, so it ain't like I'm away from it. So you stock up. When you see that, you buy it. You get you a freezer. You can get freezers. I mean, being poor, it ain't like you need no walk-in freezer. You can't afford to buy that much meat any damn way. So just a normal, small, on-the-floor freezer. Home Depot has a selection. I call it pull boy freezers. They got one standing one and one small one. And to give you a equivalent about the size, I would say it'll hold like 2 deer that's been butchered. That's another thing. There's members of my family. Some of them hunt. I'll hunt, during deer season. And yeah, deer meat's good. You got to learn to cook it. And that helps out with meat. One deer lasts you quite a bit. So there's only 2 of us. But yeah, with the groceries, you look for the sales. You buy in bulk. You have to manage your sweets. You got a sweet tooth. Learn to cook. Make your own pies. Make your own cakes. Yeah, you can go on YouTube and find these recipes how to make your own candy bars. All you really need is flour and sugar, baking soda, stuff like this, some cocoa powder, and you buy that right, catch them on sale. They last quite a while. Better than paying like $3-4 for a damn candy bar. And the way that all these companies do, I know y'all have noticed that I have. I mean, the shrinkage that I've seen people talk about, that's real. That's real. And I remember moon pies were like this, and they were 3 layers. I had a moon pie the other day that's full size. They were itty bitty, and there was no layering to it, but still charging the same price that they used to. And I'm like, so that way they say we ain't raising prices, yeah, but you ain't getting what you used to get either. I don't drink sodas. My splurge, the only thing that really catches me is the energy drinks every now and then. And you'll find out a lot of poor people, we drink the hell out of some damn energy drinks. I mean, because the work you're constantly doing and everything, you're running basically dead half the time. So you need something. And I'm going to have to figure out on the settings why this thing keeps doing that. But in any case, yeah. And even with those, you get those at Sam's too, and you wait for a sale because they are outrageous. I'm constantly switching brands of what I like to drink because I don't care. I'm not paying those $6-7 for no damn can of energy drink. I guess I'll just walk like a zombie if I got to. But you got some people that they don't want to compromise. Well, okay, but then don't complain. That's all I got to say about it. You just don't complain then. You don't want to try. You don't want to compromise. Oh, okay. You deal with consequences. But yeah, the economy to me, I don't think the economy sucks is from what all the experts say. And when you go out, it feels like it sucks. But truth be told, the economy don't suck. It is greed. It is pure greed. These houses that they're building around here, what, $400K and stuff? Dude, you can go get you a house that was built in the 60s and 70s for a third of the price. You have to do some work to it, but the thing's already, 40 years, 30 years old. You can get you something like that, and it's going to last you forever. These new houses, I have 2 sisters, both of them bought them a house, and look, they're constantly working on the things, constantly. And to me, it's like, how the hell can you spend that kind of money on a home that's supposed to be brand new, and within a year, you're working on the house? That just drives me crazy. And then you got HOA. I cannot believe you could lose your home if you don't pay HOA fees or get fined so much. I'd be damned with that. I wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. It's bad enough as it is. If you buy a home, you still got to pay the government your rent, and you know what I'm talking about. That's the property taxes. You don't own crap. You're renting that for the rest of your life, and then whoever you leave it to is going to have to keep right on renting it. You miss a payment, they take the home and the damn land. So you're renting. You don't own it. I say you're paying for the privilege of maintaining it. That's what I say. Cars and stuff. Oh man, I would say if you can get you an older car, do it. At least you could work on it yourself. They tend to last longer anyway. But everyone likes a decent drive, and if you're going to work and kill yourself, most people, they're going to spend money on the automobile. They feel like, I deserve it. I'm going to kill myself at a factory job. So, try to find you one that's a couple of years old. Me prefer, now I drive one that's already, I guess you would say, old, because I got it brand new back in 2018. And I had lucked up, and a family member, how do you say all this without too much? A family member came across some extra income, and they bought the car for me. So, well, they didn't buy it from me. It ended, it benefits me, but brand new car. And quite frankly, it's like, that's lucky. Very, very, very lucky. Most people don't get that lucky though. And, you can't sit there and tell people while you're sitting in a brand new car how to car shop. So all I can say is, before that, I drove what they call junkers. I drove older cars. They didn't look pretty, but they ran good. They got me back and forth to work, and that was a win. You pay $1,500 for it. If you got a year out of it, hey, you was winning. You know what I'm saying? But usually you get like 3 years out of them before you have to do something major. And the thing is, you could work on them. You can't work on a new car, not without a bunch of machines and tools. And forget the YouTube videos. They keep showing all that stuff with these new cars. They show you just enough to get in trouble. because you got to know how to program that stuff and everything else. So automobiles and trucks, good Lord Almighty, there is no way that I'm going to get me a truck that basically is a down payment on a house, and I can't reason that out. I really can't. But I see a ton of people doing it, and every time I see them, it's like, yeah, they're basically one paycheck away from being homeless. You know, looks can be deceiving. They can own a brand new, nice, pretty house, 2-story, driving a brand new truck, got a decent job, and still be over their damn eyeballs in debt. They lose that job, they lose everything. And most of the time, those people, they really can't deal. You know, I'm hitting different things. Like I said, this is the first video. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. This channel is going to be mostly a whole bunch of this old man rambling, you know. Let's see. Another thing that popped in my head today, these jobs. People say, well, just get a job. Well, yeah, that's another one that's crooked. You got all these companies out here, you got for food, raising prices when they don't have to. I'm sure everyone's seen the news where they dumping milk and, you know, they kill chickens and everything else. You know, around here, they actually pay farmers not to plant. And that's because they don't want to destroy the prices of corn and stuff like this. That all goes back to the stock market. And there's a deer out there. And so to me, that's all rigged. That's just greed. Whatever they decide they want to do it, they see how far they could push it, what people's going to pay. Cars are the same way, I think. I think if everyone just stopped buying the damn things, they'd have to drop prices because they can't swallow that debt. Houses, well, you say don't buy houses, but I don't know about y'all, but everywhere we look around here, they're constantly building them. They say there's a shortage. There's a housing supply shortage. Bullshit. Sorry for the English, but we have a lot of empty houses around here. A lot of these duplexes and all these neighborhoods where it's all brand new homes, most of them's empty. There ain't no shortage. There's plenty of stuff. You can go online and see houses for sale, places for rent. I ain't never seen no shortage because them pages are loaded, page after page after page. But anyway, back to the job situation. You got to work. And the problem is they know that. So, hang on a second, let me put my cigarette butt in my pocket. This is, like I said, I'm on a preserve right now. If you are going to smoke, be respectful. Put your cigarette butts in your pocket. Don't leave them out in the damn woods, please. In any case, they know they got you. And where I'm at, it's mostly industrial. You know, most of the factories around here does automobile parts. I know how much it costs to make the parts. See, that's what I'm saying. It's all greed. But anyway, yeah, that's most of the work around here for one thing or another. You know, basically press machine work. There is wire company, processes wire, carpet company. We do have a paper mill, and we have a tire company, automobile tire company. But the thing about it is they know that everyone depends on them for a paycheck. So man, we're talking 12-hour swing shifts. We're talking 12-hour straight shifts. Don't ever want to give you a day off. Half the holidays you're working. I'm talking Christmas and everything. I see some people on YouTube crying, I gotta work Christmas. That's the norm around here. And if you try to take that off, all of a sudden you got sick. Yeah, there's your write-up. And around here, 1 or 2 write-ups, you ain't got a job. And you know, it sucks. The pay, they keep that scaled. You know, all factories do, though. I think across the country, it depends on where you live at. I think they actually judge by what to pay you based on what they think you need to survive. It ain't got crap to do with the work you do or anything like that. So it's like just enough to keep you scraping by. You can't get ahead. You can't afford to take the time off. And if you did try, let's swipe it. I'm sorry, y'all. I really don't know how to work this dang thing yet. But they got you by the barrel. I mean, what you gonna do? Say no? Be jobless if you do. Force you into overtime. And that's another thing. You know, it ain't that people around here are lazy, and it ain't that they don't need the money. But look, you go work in that overtime, and you bring home your paycheck, and you see you made less than what you did without the overtime. You got to be a moron to want to work the overtime. I mean, that's just honest. And these companies, and they know it. And that's why overtime's mandatory, you know, stuff like that. And labor laws, everybody wants to quote them and talk about them. They don't help you. They're not for you. Shoot, as a matter of fact, like I said, I'm in South Carolina. State labor laws in South Carolina, they don't even have to give you a break or a lunch break. You work straight 8 hours or 12 hours if they wanted you to, and you can't do nothing about it. That's the last time I checked on it anyway. If it's changed, let me know in the comments. But yeah, what set me off was, and this, like I said, first video, I was watching YouTube and seeing this girl, and she's in, I think it was a BMW. Now, I'm too poor to even price BMWs, but I'm not dumb enough to not know that damn BMWs, they gotta cost, what, 40, 60 thou? I mean, come on, it's a BMW. They're not cheap. But, and it was a nice looking car. And she's gonna get out of the car and go to her house. It's a 2-story. The furniture in that place was nice. I mean, it was a nice place. And first thing you learn as a poor person, you notice nice things. Now, like I said, looks can be deceiving. She could be in debt up to her eyeballs. But if you're in debt up to your eyeballs, you really don't have no business getting on YouTube to tell a bunch of poor people how to make it. Because you ain't made it. You know, like I said, because you're a paycheck away from losing it all. Now, if you got all that and you got money to throw away, then why are you talking to poor people? Most of them ain't going to listen to you anyway. Now, and if you made it, like you started at the bottom and you made that, which I doubt, because I'm sorry, this is not a fairy tale. The truth being is, most people work till they die struggling. The promotion things, that's rigged. You gotta be friends and all like this. Hey, we even got one job out this way. The only way to get on at that place, which is also the highest paying job around here, you gotta know somebody in there. And it, you know, and they stick to themselves. So, I mean, why would they associate with a bunch of poor people, us out in the woods and stuff like that? They ain't gonna do it. So, you know, you got no chance of getting in there. And before anyone says all that, they can't do that, laws, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they find ways to do it. So, unless you're rich enough to get a lawyer, which we are not, so we can't do nothing about that. But basically, just a little rambling. The gas prices, I've heard that today. People were freaking out about gas prices. Give it a week, they'll be down. I mean, I understand if you're on E, bad luck. That's what I call that. This is bad luck. But if you ain't on E, just wait before you fill that truck up. Oh, what is it, 50, 100 gallons you got to put in that damn thing? Anyway, just wait till gas prices come down in a few days and then go fill up. You ain't got to fill up right then and there. Now, like I said, if you're on E, I understand. That's cool. bad luck happens. I've had to do it myself a couple of times and cuss at myself, say, dang, I knew I should have filled up yesterday. But the other thing is, hey, look at what it is. Winter, the electricity gets you. It's like, man, they jack up the price, and they eat you alive with the electric bill. Now, see, I live in a trailer now, so, and like I said, my landlord don't care, so I made me got a fireplace, got that, it's safe, pass code, got to do it right, and that was to help with the heating bill because of the electricity. Jeez. That's too outrageous. If you're not careful in the winter around here, you can get like a $300 or $400 electric bill easy. Summertime, it ain't the electricity so much. Prices actually, they start dropping on that, but it's the gas, especially around here, because South Carolina, we get a ton of tourists, and that'll start driving up gas prices. Some of the stores, food prices will go up a little bit, it's all because of tourism. It brings money in for the state, but it ain't like we see that. I mean, we're one of them places where the roads never get fixed, but you're always paying a road tax, but they don't never fix the holes in them. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, people. Got to make your way, and don't stress out about stuff. Stress will kill you faster than anything. That whole live below your means, that's easy to say, but it's hard to do, especially when you're struggling week to week. Say live below your means, and you're like, well, I'm already owe more than what I make. How can I go below that when that's only the necessities? Yeah, you can't. I know people say, well, you can get you 2 jobs. Look, you're already dead tired, and you young people, you're going to see as you start to get older, destroy your body. Destroy your body, as they say, working for the man. You ain't going to enjoy retirement. Your body be too messed up to enjoy it. And, rich people do it, but us poor people, you work till your body breaks. And then it's about that time, it's time for retirement. And that's just the way it goes. There's life. It sounds depressing. And, there's people that they play the lottery and all this stuff. That's a poor man's trap. Lord, that's a poor man's trap. Money that they could use for something else to put a smile on their face, they'll put it on a piece of paper that ain't going to give them nothing in return. Which is sad that the government even allows that to happen. But all in all, someone like me, I can say I'm happy. It is what it is, and most of the people where I'm at, that's the way we all feel. It is the way it is. It's always been like this. So before anyone in the comments goes saying about Trump, it was like that with Obama. It's been like this since damn Jimmy Carter. It has been like this forever. It ain't got crap to do with no president. And they can say whatever they want to, but as a poor man, it's always been like this. Ain't no president ever done anything for a poor man. They say they do, but I ain't never seen anything. Income tax. Hey, that's our Christmas. That's our Christmas. Because trust me, Christmas itself, that's a debt. Man, the stress levels go up, and all you're doing is just spending money you don't have to give presents to people that's going to give you presents for money that they didn't have. It would suit me just fine if family just get together on Christmas, watch a damn movie, and just talk a little bit. I'd be happy with that. But again, that's the way it is. And look at this bad boy right here. I don't know if y'all see him or not. But, hey, he's a little aggressive. But in any case, yeah, nice little area. I like this place. It goes all the way back up through there, all the way down there. There's a few ponds back up in there too. But in any case, this is Old Gamer. Y'all take it easy, and I'll see you on the next one.